Roundtable for March 22nd, 2021. I'm Charles,
I'm Daniel.
I'm Tommy.
and so a lot has happened in the past week, mainly just March Madness, and there's been a lot of upsets. So today we're gonna start with some March Madness questions, and there was a lot of upsets this week, such as like Alabama Christian against Texas. There's also Oral Roberts. So like, what are your thoughts on their performances, and do you think they were like ranked wrongly, or did they just outperform what they were doing before?
I think there was a lot of misseeded teams due to missing games with COVID, like Oregon State. But I think Abilene Christian and Oral Roberts were just two good upsets. And I really like Oral Roberts now, so I'm kind of rooting for them to go pretty far.
Yeah.
And I like how they have two really great guys on their team that are kind of carrying them. I think it's a cool story.
Yeah, both teams played such a good game. And Oral Roberts has won 2 games as a 15 seed, so they must have figured something out.
Yeah, just seeing as how they're able to take down one of the like fan favorites of Ohio in like the first round. It definitely wrecked a lot of brackets, but if you like watch the games, they look like a really solid team. They don't look like they're just tucking up prayers and somehow they're going in. They look organized. They don't look like they're breaking down against all these other higher ranked teams. I feel like a lot of teams have gained a lot of like fans now, just because like Oral Roberts, just because they're doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also feel like Loyola was maybe ranked a bit wrong. I feel like it should have been like a 4 or 5 seed, I guess, instead of what they were like an 8 or something. Just because, as you can tell, like I just feel like they've outperformed really what their seeding was, and even there during the year. I just don't feel like I feel like they still were pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think we met and talked about like the Ohio State game. Did we?
Not yet.
Yeah, but Ohio State lost in the first round, which is probably like the biggest upset of the whole bracket. And then Illinois lost, which was like a ton of people had them, probably like 30% of the brackets. So just like this year's been crazy, and there's no perfect brackets at all. Like even the round of 32, there was like 1 or 2 maybe, but
Yeah, it's crazy after how so few games they're already all wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people thought like the Big Ten was gonna be absolutely insane, and then we like came in, and then it's just like Illinois got taken out in the second round. Then we saw
Iowa.
Iowa got taken on by Oral Roberts. So it's like now we just see like in general, the Big Ten was like maybe a bit too hyped up, I guess, and
Yep.
like a lot of the teams were overranked or just due to some bias.
Yep. Pac-12 got that. Pac-12 got that underdog conference. They got 4 of the 5 in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so now that we have the Sweet 16, what are some like the main contenders that you see left?
I'm surprised by Michigan. I thought they were just gonna disappoint. I think a lot of people did, but actually, I don't know. I don't see a clear winner versus in Florida State versus Michigan, but I think Michigan looks pretty good. I still think from the beginning like Baylor and Gonzaga, two strong teams, but I do like Loyola. Going pretty far with Ludwig. I think that guy's pretty good. But those are the big contenders. I don't really see any other ones.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga is such a powerhouse. Like they won by 40 something points, which is like a lot. They beat Wisconsin pretty easily. So I think Gonzaga, they're such a good team. They have so many good players. They have 3 players they have a player in the first team, second team, and third team, like for all the NCAA. So I think they'll go far. I think the speed of Baylor's game is like really hard for a lot of other teams to catch up to them, and they just keep running and going, and they're pretty good. They're like so versatile. They have all these different players. So I think Baylor and Gonzaga are definitely the top two front runners. But then again, like Tommy said, Loyola Chicago's they're on a roll right now. And Cinderella Story Part 2.
Yeah, I totally agree. I believe seeing as how the bracket has gone this far, I still think Gonzaga is definitely the favorite. They just look really solid. They're destroying other teams. Then probably I'd say Baylor. I have them winning my bracket, and I just felt like they're a pretty good team throughout the season. And then even after that, you still have like some like my main sleeper would probably be Loyola to win it all. And then I don't really see Michigan doing. I don't see Michigan making it to the Final Four, and I really think FSU should be able to pull it over Michigan. So if anything, I think FSU should be like another pretty good team that might have a chance.
Yep.
And there's also many talented and unknown players that have gotten a chance to play big in this tournament and perform on the big stage under pressure. And who are some of these players that you like are exciting to watch so far in this March Madness bracket?
Well, I know his name does not sound anything like how it's spelled, but on Oral Roberts, Max Abmas or Imus or something. He's looking good. And also on Oral Roberts, Kevin O'Banner. Those two are like the big two. They're looking really good. And I do like how who's the guy on Ohio? Not Ohio State, just Ohio.
Jason Preston.
Yeah, he got a good chance to really show off how he can lead a team. Like I know he's been doing that all season, but I think in a big tournament like this against a 4 seed, showing like leading them to the win was good.
Yeah.
But I think those are the big three that I've enjoyed watching.
Yeah. I agree. Those three are really good players. Avalon Christian's just like a good team in general. They don't have like one standout. And then, yeah, I think those are good underdogs that have a chance going pretty far.
Yeah, I definitely, of course, you still got like Kisper and like Suggs and stuff. Of course, they're doing really well. But you still have, I don't know his name, I forget his name. It was Loyola Chicago, and no one really expected him to be performing so well.
The big center,
Yeah,
something Ludwig or Kretwig.
yeah, I'm not really sure his name, but I just feel like he's really outperforming right now. And I saw like a really big play end of the game. They were like up by 1, and he got a really big steal to seal the game. So I just feel like under pressure, he's playing really well so far, and he's looking really good in the tournament. So now our Gonzaga has been looking really good after a 43-point win. So what do we think? How is their road to like the finals going to be difficult? Do you think there's going to be a close game, or are they just going to blow out every team with like 30 plus?
I think. Who are they playing next? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I'll find it. They're playing Creighton.
Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna be an easy win. I don't think it was. I think too many people at US Santa Barbara beating Creighton. I think Creighton's still a really good team, but I don't think they'll have a real fighting chance against Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I think Gonzaga losing before the finals is just not going to happen. I think they're way stronger than any other team. They just have so many shooters. I don't think they can do anything to stop them.
Yeah, I don't think Gonzaga's losing. They play Creighton, and they play the winner after they win that, which most likely will happen. They'll play the winner of USC and Oregon, and that's a 6 seed and a 7 seed. So I think they have a easy walk to the Final Four. And all their players are so good. No player on the team is bad.
Yeah, I just feel like Gonzaga has such depth, and they're able to. And then of course they have the big three in their team. So I just don't really see them losing. So I just feel like Creighton's gonna be easy win because I feel like since the beginning Creighton's been like doubted, and I wouldn't say they definitely proved some people wrong, but I wouldn't say they've been like really outperforming. So I feel like Creighton should be a pretty easy win for Gonzaga, and of course I feel like the other winner of like USC and whatever other team is should also be a pretty easy win. So I feel like it's a pretty easy trip to the Final Four, and it's kind of hard to predict from there. And then we also have some. Then we also have the one game, the Oregon game, and then like the misseeded teams. So the VCU, I believe VCU Oregon game. Do you think that could have like affected the bracket at all, or like some of the upsets if they didn't happen? Do you think, such as like Oral Roberts in Sweet 16, and I believe this is like a stat, if they're able to win this game, they will be the first ever 15 seed to make it to the Elite Eight. So do you think they really have a chance of doing that? Or and Alabama Christian taking a 3 seed to Texas? I know they lost last round, but like they still really outperformed what people thought they would be able to do.
I think there's still a chance. I think there is a chance they can make it and beat Arkansas. Everyone would go crazy if they did. It would be awesome. But I thought Abilene Christian, they didn't lose by too much, right?
They no, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a good game. I mean, I think Texas had kind of secured the win, but Abilene Christian didn't just give them the win. They put up a good fight.
Well, no, they beat Texas. Abilene Christian beat Texas by 1 point in the first round, and then they lost.
Oh, are we talking about the first game? Sorry.
Then they lost to UCLA by 20.
Oh, okay. Then that whole thing I said was completely wrong. No comment then, I guess.
Yeah. I think, well, UCLA was also like a sleeper team. They had a playing game. They weren't supposed to be super good, but they beat BYU, who's a 6 seed in the first round, by a lot, and they beat Abilene Christian by 20, who beat Texas, who's the 3 seed. So I think a lot of like puzzle pieces are just like connecting for a bunch of like underdog teams. And I think that like the VCU game, I don't know, like I don't think no one knows if it could have changed anything, but Oregon's playing super good right now, beating their team by a lot. So, and they beat Iowa by 15. So I think it could have affected it, but I think Oregon still would have won, and the same outcome would have happened if that game didn't get canceled.
I feel like the game would have been a pretty good game, and if VCU won, I feel like then there's probably a good chance that Iowa would have made it to the Sweet 16. I feel like they would have been able to beat the VCU team. I know, what's his name? Oh, I'm forgetting his name right now. The big man.
Luka Garza.
I know he played insanely well, and he just doesn't have the help he needs on either end. And I know he's kind of a defensive liability, but I just don't. His team just really wasn't supporting him in the round of 32. So I feel like it could have affected it, but I don't really think it could have grandly affected like the overall course of the bracket. All right, so today will be the trade deadline for the NBA. So we're going to talk about some Celtics, what the NBA. And the Celtics have been like hovering around like 500 for a whole season. And do you think there's anything we need to change that can like solidify their spot in the playoffs?
I mean, it's really the same thing every week. That it's, I don't know what's going on with them, because now we're 21 and 23. So we have a losing record. We seem to lose to all the not so great teams, and then we either lose by a little or win by a lot. I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is, because we obviously haven't figured out the answer, because we keep losing to all these teams. I don't know. They might be able to change around, but we've thought that all season. They haven't, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think this is just not the year for the Celtics. I'm starting to not like pay attention to what's going on, because March Madness is like everything else is more interesting than the Celtics right now. So I don't know if they can solidify a spot in the playoffs, but hopefully they can, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really see the. I feel like the Celtics are still. They're not a bad team. They just need to find something to click, and I just don't think this year they're gonna be able to do it because there's just something wrong with it. Maybe like the team chemistry or just some game plan stuff that need to work out, and I just don't think this is a 1 year fix. And also, like some of these like bad teams that they should be beating, they're losing by like 22, which is kind of disappointing. But also like the same thing, like I just feel like there's a lot of more. I'm not really paying attention as like there's March Madness going on right now, but I just feel like in general, I know the general scores, and I just know they need to be like they shouldn't be getting blown out by such like teams such as like the Cavs or something. And also we have Blake Griffin's first dunk. For the Brooklyn Nets, this is his first points, and this is his first dunk since December 2019. So like over a year ago. And do you think he's gonna finally like start to be able to raise this like Brooklyn team even more to become like a serious finals contender now that he's out of Detroit?
I think Blake kind of just turned around his whole performance because you see him diving for the ball and trying harder than he seemed to have been in Detroit. So I think if he keeps playing like he recently has, I think it just even solidifies their finals appearance even more.
Yeah, he's kind of coming like James Harden, even though James Harden on Houston's scored like crazy numbers every game. But now, right when he changed to Houston, he's leading the league in assists. He's letting his Kyrie and KD and his other teammates score the points, even with him scoring like 20 or something points a game. But yeah, I think Blake Griffin is definitely like doing sort of what James Harden's doing and being more of a team player.
Yeah, I feel like he went from being like the definite first option for the Pistons to now like more of a role player at Brooklyn. I feel like he fits that role pretty well. He can get the job done from the perimeter now, and he can still occasionally be a force in the paint if he decides to be. And gets his health, gets his like knees healthy and stuff. So I feel like overall he's going to be a pretty good piece for them, and I think they definitely have a serious shot for this finals. And now some like sad news for LaMelo. He was recently diagnosed with a fracture in his right wrist, and he's going to be most likely out for the rest of the season. And the Rookie of the Year award probably will not be going to him. So it's like, who do you think will be Rookie of the Year, or like, do you still think LaMelo is gonna have that trophy?
I mean, I think it's terrible that he got injured, and also with him and LeBron being injured, you see all these sports media who their whole content is of these two players. They're starting to have to vary what they post, which I think is kind of funny. Um, I mean, it's terrible he got injured. And I saw on the NBA posting about the Rookie of the Year race, like the leaderboard. He's not even on it anymore. Um, so I think with it in the air, I think Emmanuel quickly is looking pretty cool. Um, I think he fits in really well. With the Nets, he kind of took off running. I think he might win it.
Yeah, I don't think LaMelo will win it or should win it because I think to be the Rookie of the Year, you should have stats like the whole year playing well, and if he only plays, I guess it's more than half the season, but it's still not a full season. So anything could happen in the rest, and if he wins it, there's no way he should have won it, and it should definitely be given to someone else.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same situation as like Zion last year. He was definitely insane during his only like I think like 20 games he played. I think he was averaging like 20 plus or something like that. He was an absolute beast, but just because of his like amount of games he played, he wasn't able to beat John Morant in that race. And I just don't really see LaMelo being his stats so far being able to hold him there. So I do believe like my new favorite would probably be Anthony Edwards, seeing as how he's dominating on the Timberwolves right now. And we all see his highlights of like dunking on people, and I just feel like he's a really solid pick to win Rookie of the Year. And I also know Emmanuel quickly is also doing really well in the Knicks. So during the NBA now, there's like 90 NBA players that are diagnosed with an injury. So what are your thoughts? That like, is there something wrong with like, I don't know, like the safety standards, or like is this like gonna affect any teams drastically?
I mean, I think it's just unfortunate that all these people are injured. I don't know if it's a certain thing. And I don't think this really affects it, but with I think the intensity's not either. Actually, I don't know if it's higher or lower, but I think the intensity level is different without all these fans, which could be a reason for all these injuries. I'm not sure if it is. I don't think there's a real reason that all these injuries are occurring.
Yeah, I think it's just a coincidence and just like something's maybe it's just quarantine and like this COVID stuff, but something's just not working right now. And maybe maybe everyone just needs a little rest. But we just had the All-Star break, so I don't know. Maybe they're partying a little too hard on their time off.
Yeah, so I just think it's just I think it's unfortunate, and just for a lot of the players, and seeing how the Lakers have now lost AD and LeBron, they're just not looking too good. I feel like that's the main team that's affected. But I just feel overall, I just feel like the NBA is right now probably at a low point considering of COVID, and like a lot of stars you want to see playing aren't going to be playing anymore. So I think it's just gonna take some time for them to heal and just get back into the game before it's gonna be as enjoyable as it was before. And another like one of the worst teams in the league right now, the Rockets. They have lost Christian Wood, and they've lost the last 20 games. But do we think like the return of Christian Wood is gonna be able to turn that team around? So, what are your thoughts on that?
They won. I know this was written on Monday, but they won yesterday or the day before, right?
I believe so.
But the 2020 games is just absurd. Um, I think Christian Wood just turned his whole career around last season, and he's now like a great player, and this kind of shows how much he impacts the team. So I think he won't drastically turn them around, but I think he'll help them start winning some more games.
Yeah, I don't know how you lose 20 games in a row. That's like what? That's insane. But they won on Monday. They beat Toronto, breaking the 20-game losing streak. But yeah, and Christian Wood has to have something to do with it, because 20 games, I don't even like. That's like 20 in a row. I guess 20 games. That's just a lot of games.
Yeah. Seeing as how they're like all professional NBA players and they're getting paid for this, and they've like made it to the league, which is really impressive. It's just hard to believe like all these players cannot pull off one good game out of the last 20 to just pull one out by even just like a point or something. It's just like it's not like I know their team's weak and all, but still with NBA caliber players, you should be able to pull off one win. At least
Yeah,
one.
and it must be like something to do with their coaching, because yeah, like Charles said, they're NBA players. They're national, like the whole country, the whole world. They're the best players.
Best of the best, yeah.
Yeah, so there should be a way to score more points than the other team like once out of 20 games.
Yeah. Even without like their superstars that they had, I just feel like it's really sad how they're not even able to win one game. But I think Christian Wood, definitely seeing as how he's like their star now, is going to be turning around slightly. But I just really don't think the Rockets are going to be that good for the next coming years. And then also LeBron's ankle sprain recently. Do we think this will affect his MVP race?
Do you know how long he's supposed to be out for?
I think it's 8 weeks or something.
A couple weeks, yeah.
I think it will affect it. I don't know if it will drastically affect it. He'll obviously fall down a few slots on the race. But I think he'll have to have a monster turnaround, a monstrous turnaround for him to still be the winner of it. I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to win it after this, but I still think he'll be slightly in consideration once he comes back.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't know. 6 to 8 weeks is a lot of time. Like Joel Embiid, is he coming back?
I think he's coming back pretty soon.
Yeah, so he'll probably come back a little bit before LeBron, but I don't know. I think LeBron, since it's just LeBron, I think he's still in the conversation. Because he's like what, 38 or 39 or something, 37 maybe. So he's just like, he's still in it. He's always in it, even when he's not in it. He's in the run.
Yeah, you can never really count him out. I just feel like there's a bit of fan bias. I just feel like he would never fall out of any MVP race any year unless he's really injured that year. But I think he should be pretty good. Overall, I don't think it will affect him that much, seeing as how he was a front runner for the MVP, and it's just the same as like Joel, and Joel got injured. And I don't see Joel doing too bad, right? Like really falling off from his like throne of like first place. Just maybe a couple games to prove he's just as good. But I don't really see it affecting too much. So now we also have some like offseason moves from the Patriots. And what are your thoughts on like the huge moves that the Patriots are doing this year in free agency, and what their like plan might be for this next year, or like their plans to the draft?
I don't know. Well, now that we have tight ends and all these other positions, I don't know what position we need to draft. I don't know if we'll draft a quarterback. I'm not sure. I saw some rumors that we might, but I don't think we necessarily need. I don't think there's necessarily a need we have for a certain position. I think the Pats and free agency have kind of turned around the team, hopefully, and I think Cam will have a comeback season, and I think we'll be a good playoff team next year.
Yeah, I think the offensive line is like the whole team. You have a good offensive line, you have a good offense. So if the Patriots can get some really good college offensive linemen, and maybe Bill Belichick will draft someone good for once, maybe our offense will get going, because then Cam Newton will have time to pass, he'll have time to run it. And I think that's why we have Cam Newton. And he's not like a great quarterback. He's like he's a good leader. He's a good like playmaker. He likes the competition. But he just doesn't have like the skills that the other quarterbacks have. So if we have a good offensive line, it just opens up doors for our whole team. And our defense will be able to make plays and stop teams.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same. I feel like they're looking forward to this draft. We like Bill Belichick has a history of just selecting very unpopular picks. But I think we definitely do need to focus on our O-line. I know our defense is going to be pretty solid. We have some passing areas now. I just think right now we need to release some pressure out the QB of Cam, and so maybe some O-line, maybe draft a backup quarterback just in case Cam doesn't perform too well. But I don't think quarterback is going to be a need pick until like maybe next year, just after this like 1 year of testing Cam. And I think, unless anyone else has anything else to say, I think that will be it for the roundtable this week.